Hello, it's Thursday. I never remember what day it is. Thursday, looking at the markets, see what's going on this morning. Looks like US and Iran are exchanging strikes across multiple regions, so crude flows at the Iraqi terminals are suspended. Futures are sliding amid a broad semiconductor sell-off. We posted about TSMC recently this morning. Let's just look at Twitter. Easier that way. Is it the right one? That one's semiconductor. Yeah. Looks like it just dropped a massive Q2 beat and raised Q3 revenue guidance. But it looks like it's down pre-market 4%. Looks like they're looking for additional $100 billion for U.S. investment expansion in the AI sector, which is interesting. Fixed income and politics. So we got yields softening on inflation fears linked to the Middle East. UK markets favoring the incoming fiscally conservative Chancellor. Let's check out some of the currency pairs. We got EURUSD, 4-hour chart looking like it's basically doing some distribution here. We're seeing a little bit of high push into the 114 range. I'm expecting a breakdown below the support levels, so we'll see what's up with that. We got US JPY. Even though the semiconductor drawdown is messing with the Nikkei, the JPY is showing some technical consolidation. I'm looking for volatile breakout. We're seeing how that plays out this morning. Looking at the pound, 4-hour, definitely a huge spike up in there. I would probably, I would hit this at 135, and I would probably short this down back to that support. So I'm looking at that this morning. And actually, let me get that chart up so I don't forget. Dell is getting some noise this morning. It was down 9% yesterday, and it's back down to within that candle range. So it looks like it's just going to consolidate here, even though they had a really good earnings. I know Trump owns Dell, so we'll watch this and see where this goes. Dude, you should have bought a Dell, honestly. So I'm going to put this on my watcher there. What else we got? I have a thesis on gold, so I'm just going to put it out there because Twitter is just a dump, a garbage pile of people putting their gold ideas there. But let's run through this, right? Daily, this is a markdown. And if we look at the 4-hour, we see the weekly high there, wicked into it on the 4-hour, still couldn't get past it, and the nearest zone is 4,080. That's thereabouts in the 4-hour. So now we go down to the 15. If I was playing this, which I probably might, I'm going to watch the 4080 area on that 4-hour. Price may spike up around 8:30 this morning because we have some sort of report going out. What was it? Some report at 8:30. I forget. It's good, but I would expect it to get some liquidity up there and probably slam down to 39.88, 39.60, something like that. So that's kind of where I'm thinking on gold. It's interesting to see what everybody thinks on that. What else we got? I just posted just kind of a generic thought here. It looks like the 7/17 Iran oil deadline is kind of everyone's positioning for that, but I don't really think that's a catalyst. I think the real tape is XLF, and if you've been following me for a minute, we had a scanner on XLF. We had a signal on XLF a few days, And let me just pull in signal deck here. Let's see where we're at. So we got into XLF 5 days ago on a signal, and I still think this chart's got legs with it. We have not seen a sell signal on that, so we're hitting that high from January. So we're seeing where this is going, but it is pushing into that high on higher volume. So I think XLF is going to continue to be where this movement is going. We're seeing tech sell out here, and we're seeing inflows on XLF. And I think if you look at the macro view here, that's kind of like what I was posting. I'm probably going to be shorting some semis in the morning. And I'm still looking at XLE just because I'm really interested in the chart. We have that POC at around 56.98. We had that hammer on the 14th, and price is not really getting past that. So, yeah, this is an interesting situation here. I do see the upturn on XLE. And if you look at the 1 hour, we have continuation. So we're just, I have a position as well on XLE. And when did we get into that guy? We've been into that for 7 days. So, we might add to it depending on strength. We're just going to kind of watch and see where that goes there. If you look at the USD or CHF, I need to just learn these. Swiss franc, we're seeing some bouncing support there. That's an interesting level there. I don't think a lot of people trade, or at least, I don't know, it's looking pretty cool. Let's look at the 4 hour. 4 hours definitely up. So this is an interesting play there. Yeah. Okay. Let's go through some of the positions. Let's make sure the scanner ran this morning because we just pushed a big release out on signal deck for the scanner. Nice. Got a lot of leadership. We're still trying to figure out with the quants what the leadership filter is going to look like because right now that strategy is bad. But I kind of played the leadership a little. I kind of chose what to buy and sell and actually made some good money. We had PANW on that. We had a lot of huge plays on leadership filter. So working that out with the quants to see how we can get better there. We're still seeing signals on XLE, which is interesting. So I think that's pretty good. We're not seeing any sell signals on the sector rotation. So that's interesting. Let's go through some of these trades real quick. Run through the charts. We had an SPSC fill yesterday, which is really just a massive gap fill play. It did get sold into on a low volume up thrust. So let me edit this because this is essentially a gap fill play. And the stop loss remains on that. We had a buy order on NVIDIA from DeepSeek, but I'm not going to get into that. Let's check out the CVS. So now we got 2 positions in CVS. Massive indecisive candle, and we're way above our target. So I now need to make a decision. Do I go on the price target? It's over. Do I just sell into it? Cash out? Do I look at this as strength and move the stop? So this is something I'm going to have to think about here. I do see price bouncing off the 200-day. So I may hold into this, maybe move the stop like up a touch. Price target's hit though. If I see this hit price target and it goes down and I lose money, I'm going to be super upset. So that's going to have to be something I decide afterwards. XLF, we're not looking at this as a something that we look at every day because we're running this off the signal. And remember, signal deck, we have signals, and we have quants building these signals. If you get into the elite tier price range, you can build your own strategy. You can then save it to a notebook, and then you can put your strategy into the system, and then you can actually forward test it. We have this strategy that I was playing with, 8% return, very low win rate. Anyway, we could add this to the runs every morning as a user. So if you get into the elite tier, you can put in your trades and see what they look like, but you can also put in a strategy, build the strategy, back test it, and then forward test it. There's nobody else that's doing this. XLF is part of that signal. We don't have a stop in place. We just wait until the signal tells us to sell. Okay, XLE, talked about that. We're definitely seeing some strength being lost here, but stop loss remains. I might start moving this up if we can get out of this range. So I'm just going to say weakness showing. Stop loss remains until we can see full curve on the 200-day, 20-day. All right, SRRK. Down pretty heavy on this. Looks like it bounced off the 200-day. Super wide stop. Started playing around with the 20-day. I hate to be that retail guy that's just using 20 days and these moving averages, but I can't really argue when it hits a hammer right on that area. Low volume hammer right on that 200 or that 20-day. I'm going to keep the stop wide to see if my thesis is proved out, but we have a consolidation zone. It went up, it tested that, and then went up, and now it's testing the previous test. So we have a price target pretty good there. But yeah, that's an interesting position. Bark. All right. This is the Wyckoff box scanner. Don't really touch it. Stop remains. It is what it is. Uptrend bottom on Microsoft. So yeah, we're seeing tech getting sold off. Not a fan. Yeah, Microsoft is continuing out of this range. So we're seeing the flattening on the 220-day. This is interesting. Interesting that tech's getting sold out. Here's my other position. Let's see this. But Microsoft's looking good. Not going to complain. PBI, we had a pullback, kind of lower volume, selling into it. Price pre-market's up a touch. I'm going to move the stop up just a touch to underneath that range there. Let me make a note of that. PBI. Okay. What day was up? That was July 2nd. Okay. We got a higher volume, but still not enough. Pre-market's up a touch. NTB is a consolidator. Okay, we got some profit locked in, way underneath the recent low. Sold into. Okay, and CSX. Where are we at on this? So just kind of a lower volume pullback. I like that. I don't know why there's no pre-market on this screen. No trades. Okay. So where are we at on this? Lower volume pullback. Stop remains. Okay. Whoa, almost dropped my coffee. And then I think that's it. So I think I'm going to be looking at, what are we looking at here? We're still watching XLE. We still have a buy order on Exxon for strength. I'm watching gold for potential short. I think that's about it. Checking out the box scanner. We have a bunch of stuff to go through. So yeah, so that's what it's looking like this morning. Talk to you later.